I'm a bit more of a savoury person, so chips and crisps are definitely my downfall. Yeah, I do really like sort of like triple fried chips. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be answering some questions that you guys asked me. I put out something on Instagram the other day just asking people if they got any questions they'd like to ask me in regards to myself personally or to anything to do with health. And I have picked, well, what I feel are the best questions or the most interesting questions, and I'm going to answer them for you guys today. So the first question that I picked is, what is your favourite book to read? So I have to admit, I am quite a slow reader, I'm not going to lie. It sometimes can take me like months or even like a year to read one book. My goal this year is to actually increase my amount of reading. Funny enough, I've got time for that now. So my favourite book that I would say that I've read so far, which isn't as wide of a collection as what I'd like, because most of the books I've read are like anatomy books, which is not fun. I probably would say The Art of Happiness by the Dalai Lama. I thought that was just a really nice book, especially when, I don't know, if you're just down or in a bad mood, I find it quite uplifting. But I've got quite a few new books that I bought that I haven't actually read yet that I'm really excited to read. One of these is Joe Dispenza, Becoming Supernatural, and The Art of War, and also 48 Laws of Power. Really looking forward to reading those. I'm sure when I read those, another one will become my favourite. I'm also a really big fan of Napoleon Hill. I'm a really big fan of him as a writer and his books. So, yeah. So the next question I got asked was, what's your take on the monofruit diet / lifestyle? Now, just to make a disclaimer, I am no expert on the monofruit diet by any means. This is just literally my opinion. This isn't advice or anything like that. I think from my understanding, a monofruit diet is just eating mainly just fruit for a period of time. It mimics the fruitarian diet, so you would literally just eat fruit. I think for a short period of time, I'm sure that would be fine. I don't think that's something that I would personally implement long term, because I feel like you need other herbs and grains and nuts and seeds, etc. as well. I think it's good to have a little bit of variety because you get different benefits from those foods, but I'm sure for a short period of time it wouldn't be a bad thing to do. I think there is a really good book that I've got on my Amazon list called The Grape Cure. Really want to read that. Very interesting. So probably doing it in terms of if you're trying to detox your body or get rid of something, then yes. But yeah, I guess that's my view on it. The next question. Oh, okay, that's in French. Sorry, I'm really terrible at other languages, unfortunately. I'm trying to learn. Do you cheat often at meals? I mean unhealthy stuff. Yes, I do cheat. For sure, I'm not perfect. I've said so many times that although I believe an alkaline diet is optimum, I don't believe a diet is everything in terms of healing and health. Although it is important, I do still eat some acidic food. My cheat days, I do try to keep it as low as I can. Obviously, we all go through times where we're stressed in our life, or, I don't know, we're going through something and you just eat junk food for a little bit because of that. But on a whole, I do try to keep my diet as healthy as I can. But yes, I definitely have cheat food. I would say my cheat foods would be things like chips. I'm not really like a sweet lover. I don't like really sweet sugary things that much. I'm not a massive fan, but I love chips. Chips are definitely my cheat meal, and I definitely do have those, and they are definitely unhealthy. And I also really like crisps as well, so I'm a bit... Bleh. Let me start that again. I'm a bit more of a savoury person, so chips and crisps are definitely my downfall. Yeah, I do really like sort of like triple fried chips. They're so good. But anyway, oh my god, I'm actually hungry. So yeah, I guess that would be my downfall. I would say probably vegan junk food as well, you know, just like vegan chicken nuggets, just like vegan frozen junk food. We all do it. What is the worst gift you have received? So when I was a student, I was doing a placement in a hospital, and really randomly, although it's not like a terrible gift, but really randomly, I told a patient, he had these like fluorescent socks on. I probably still have them in my drawer maybe somewhere. Yeah, basically I said, oh, like nice socks kind of thing, like just like, it wasn't a joke, but you know what I mean. And then next week he came in and he bought me a pack, and I was like, thanks. So that's probably the worst gift. I've not really received that many bad gifts, I'm not going to lie. Maybe I just don't get that many gifts. Let me pick the next one. What is your proudest accomplishment? Well, I haven't done anything like get married or have kids, so, which most people would probably say if they've done that. So I would probably say starting my business, so leaving my job and going self-employed, because it is a scary step to take, and you know, it's a lot of uncertainties, it's a lot of risks, but always go for it, do it, because it will pay off, especially if you work hard for it. But that, I would say that was my biggest accomplishment, because I was so unhappy in employment and I've always wanted to have my own business, and although I'm nowhere near where I want to be yet, I would still say making that step is my biggest accomplishment, and maybe getting my degree, because fuck me, that was hard work. Your top 5 recommended vitamins and herbs. So my top one would always be, but this is personal to me, let me say this before I do this. This is personal to me because I take these herbs because, for instance, I had a thyroid issue. So it is personal to me. But yeah, my first favourite herb is sea moss. One of the reasons is because it helped cure my thyroid issue, and the other thing is that it's got 99 minerals in roughly, and we're made up of somewhere around 102, so that's great, and it's got calcium in it. Obviously I don't drink cow's milk, not that that's the best way to get your calcium, but that's another reason why I love that, because it's high in calcium. I would then say bladderwrack. Again, I'm going to say that because of my thyroid. It's very, very good for thyroid issues. It's high in iodine, and also because it's really great for anxiety, so that's another reason why. And often you can buy these products together, so it makes life a lot easier. So I'd definitely say those two. I'd say my third favourite herb would probably be oregano, and the oil version of it as well, because it's really, really great as like an antibacterial, and it's really, really great for anti-inflammatory as well. I put it under my tongue, stings like a bastard. Another one would be yellow dot root, because iron is one of the most important minerals that you need, because it attracts all the other ones, and yellow dot root is high in iron, so I do love my yellow dot root. And I'd say to go alongside that, probably burdock root. So yeah, I'll probably say they're my top 5. They're my top most common ones that I have and take. Next question. How would you combat mandate vaccines if rolled out? Dense question, I know. That sure is a dense one, matey. Honestly, I don't know. This is one of my concerns. I'm not going to go too much into this in this video because it's not what it's about. If you know, you know. But I don't know. I think it's disgusting that, and I do believe that is going to get rolled out over here. I think it's disgusting. I don't know how you would combat it. Oh, sorry. I don't know how you would combat it, because I think it's a really hard one, because they're probably going to ban you from doing certain things like travelling and things like that. I was thinking some crazy idea like I need to hack into the system and fake that I've had it somehow. But I'll just do everything I can basically to avoid having it. If it means I can't do certain things, then boy, it is what it is. I think at the moment, either find a way to show that you've had it when you haven't. I'm sure there's someone clever out there that can do this, or you just have to avoid doing certain things. So yeah, that's a hard one, but that's a whole nother day's subject. Anyway, next question. How do you deal with family members who are strongly against your views and beliefs? So I would say definitely there are family members and close people around me that don't have the same views that I have or agree with the views that I have. To be honest with you, I don't deal with it. I think that's the best way, because at the end of the day, you can't force people to see things. If it's not in their path, it's not in their path. And everyone's here for their own life purpose. And I don't believe it's our role to judge on that. I also don't believe that you should put people down for their views or beliefs, unless it's absolutely something like crazy, like murdering people. I just think you just have to kind of avoid the subject to a certain degree. Like, I wouldn't start talking about all these things just randomly with those people, because there would just be no point, and it would just cause friction unnecessarily, and it really wouldn't get anybody anywhere. So I say just avoid talking about it. If people ask, then I will definitely express my answer to that. And if people don't agree, I say that's absolutely fine. You know, everyone's got different beliefs, and that's okay. So I think I just avoid it. If people start slandering what I'm doing, I just say to them, I just put it to them, to be honest with you, and just say at the end of the day, like, be respectful. These are my beliefs. If they're not yours, then that's fine. But there's no need to be an asshole about it, you know? But yeah, other than that, I think it's just a case of staying positive, avoiding it, don't put your energy into it. Honestly, it's a waste of energy. And yeah, just stay happy and talk about more positive things with people that aren't, you know, on that level, and make sure that you've got people around you that are on the same wavelength as you, so that you do have people you can have those conversations with, because you really don't want to feel isolated. That's one thing when it comes to this stuff. Like, a lot of people can feel alone and isolated and shut down, and I've even felt like that myself, you know, in the past. So I think it's definitely have people around you. Trust me, if you're on that vibe, you will start to attract those kind of people. Well, holler me. I'm always happy to have a chat about this stuff. I'm very open-minded, so yeah, I think if you're open-minded, you will always benefit more in life. I think you will always go further in life. I think you will learn more and grow more as a person. I think you do yourself an injustice if you're not. And just because you're open-minded, it doesn't mean you believe every single thing you're told. I just think it opens up to a broader perspective so that you can research things and just increase your knowledge, really. Another one that I got on here is, how do you begin your journey of clean eating, working out, and not being fooled by the mainstream? So my journey weirdly became with music, and this is why I've always believed, even though music isn't my pathway now, because now I know what it's really about, I do feel like it led me to where I needed to be. So when I started doing music, I met a few people. Before that, I was very atheist, I was very sciencey, which is crazy to me. And yeah, my very, very early 20s or late teens, I met a few people through music, and they just mentioned a few things and they got through to me. And it just started to, again, open up my mind. And then I started to research, and then I just went off on a whole kind of path of my own, you know, and I just kept meeting people. Like I said, the more you're on this frequency, the more you'll start to attract these kind of people, and they just kept opening up my mind. So I think I was lucky that I met, well, no, lucky, that's not true, it was meant to happen. I believe everything's meant to happen. So I think it was just meeting those people. I believe that it's written within your DNA that if you're supposed to be woken up to certain knowledge at certain times. So that's what started my journey to all this stuff. I've always been interested in fitness and clean eating. I don't know why or how, but I've always been interested in that since I was like 15, 16. I've always liked biology and just been really interested. I had trainers from quite a young age and went to the gym from quite a young age, studied it from a young age, did courses and stuff. So yeah, it's always been something I was interested in even before I went to uni to do physio, but I think it was biology and the interest in the human body and just my curiosity that got me into it, to be honest with you. And then the more you look, the more you go down that hole, and then you're in. There's no coming back once you're in. Another question is, are there ever days you think all these theories might just all be conspiracy theories? Yeah, definitely. But then I start to realise, once you just even read into a lot of science, because the thing is, there is actually a lot of scientific proof now behind these theories, not every single one of them, of course, especially the health ones. And when you see the actual evidence, and then everything adds up into a puzzle, you're like, no, this isn't a theory about a theory, this shit's real. So I have gone through my mind, but with certain things I'm like, no, I know this shit is real because I've seen the evidence and I've seen it firsthand work. So yeah. And the other question is, what gets you out of bed? My alarm. No, I think it's the sense to serve my purpose. I feel like I was put here to help with healing and helping people's pain and body issues, and I think that's what gets me out of bed, trying to elevate myself and help other people, because I've got much bigger goals that I want to elevate to, and without getting out of bed and doing the little things, I'm never going to get there. So I think my purpose and the fact that I want to do much bigger things, that's what gets me out of bed. I want to do something much more, I want to grow something much bigger and help many more people. You got to get shit done at the end of the day. We all have bad days, that's fine, but I think serving your purpose in life, and if you haven't found it yet, don't worry, you will. There's many videos out there on how to help get to that purpose as well. Definitely worth watching. But I think it's just a thing of having to push yourself and give yourself that kick up the arse sometimes, because we all need it. And weirdly enough, my name Jade actually stands for healing and health. Strange. The next question is, best way to get rid of lower back muscle pain. Now that depends on where your muscle pain is coming from or where your lower back pain origin is. The best general advice I can give, because obviously this is really not a lot of information, so, you know, do still get it seen by a professional. The best information I can give is movement. We have to keep moving. So you need to move your body in all different ranges, because if you think many years ago, we would have been throwing, catching, running more, you know, like leaning back, sort of doing all sorts of things when we had to live more in nature, whereas we don't use our bodies like that anymore. So we need to make sure we're moving in all different types of directions. Idle portal's great to look into that. and that we're keeping our body as mobile as possible, and also doing a little bit of strength work in there as well, and also looking at your emotional pH balance and your thought patterns, because that will affect chronic back pain as well. So that's just some general advice, if that helps. How do you like to de-stress? Smoke weed, motherfucker. That's not the healthy way to de-stress, guys. Meditation and breathing techniques, and sometimes just calling someone that you trust that can really help calm your mind. They're my 3 favorite ways to de-stress. And also sometimes clearing out your diet can really help you, make you feel better. Another question on here: what was your favorite subject in school? What was my favorite? I think biology and English language. I used to love to write. That's how I got into music. Really used to write I used to write so many poems. Yeah, I was really good at English language and biology. They were definitely my favorites. What are the best ways to stay fit whilst indoors? So if you're strictly talking about your house, depending on your house and what you've got to offer, you can use stairs for aerobics, really great for doing things, running up and down the stairs, burpees on them, especially if you've got some in your house, even better. Use things around your house. Use big bottles of protein, big bottles of water, use, I don't know, tools if they're safe. There are things that you can hold to use as weights around your house that you can do exercises on. There are so many people that have great YouTube videos. Go on YouTube, go on Instagram, look up people's workouts, follow them. You can do loads of aerobic stuff on the spot. You can do walking lunges, you can do strength work. There's still so much you can do, but try and utilize things in your house. You can use the most randomest as objects for weights. So get on that. Oh, 2 more questions. What can I do to help deadlift form? I couldn't keep a straight back. In terms of straight back, usually, because I have this problem, if you can't keep a straight back, if you're straight leg deadlifting I'm talking about, so your legs are straight and you're deadlifting, it's because your hamstrings are too tight. You must increase your flexibility and mobility to be able to deadlift. Lots of hamstring stretching, lots of hamstring mobility, lots of hip joint mobility stuff. Keep at that. Do not straight leg deadlift until you have good hip mobility and good hamstring length. Just do it bent legged for now. I know it's not quite the same, but... With how many boys from your high school were you in relationship? That's a random question. Not really that many. I only had 1 relationship in high school, which is actually my longest relationship ever. And that was a 1.5 years with one guy who was in the year above me. That was a crazy one. That was a real crazy one. But that's stories for another day. So yeah, that was my last question, guys. So hope you enjoyed it. If you have any other questions, please feel free to hit me up on Instagram, and I'm sure I'll do another one of these videos in the future. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.